Hi, and welcome to the Rambling Robin podcast. I am Robin, and today I'll be rambling about things that I want to talk about, as usual. So today, similarly to the last few podcasts, I'm gonna keep talking about the story that I'm working on. Working title is Trolldom, Trolldom. And today I actually wanted to talk a little bit about how I want to structure this story. Um, because the biggest problem that I have, and I think I mentioned this before, is that I keep I really want to create a story, and I'm creating this world, I'm creating characters and everything, but I am not creating a story currently. Like I'm making a bunch of characters and I'm giving them scenarios and like backgrounds and stuff, but those stories that the characters have taken part of so far are not the stories that I want to write about right now. Like that's not the main story that I want to be focusing on. But so the idea kind of struck me a couple of days ago. I think, or maybe even last week. Um, I was thinking of doing almost like how do I explain it? Kind of like starting off like kind of as a build up to the initial story. Just making like one page, one image with a little bit of text, almost like a storybook kind of deal. Similarly to how One Piece does their mini stories. If you've ever read the One Piece manga, you might know what I'm talking about. So, like for example, maybe I'll have one image where we have my character Barry Petal. If you see the video version, he's right here next to me. Or not this is still not a finished version. Um, but for example, there might be a drawing or like just a picture. I don't know why I said drawing. There might be a picture with him just like walking somewhere or working or something. Just an image of him doing something. Um, or no, let's even better example. Let's say an image of him walking somewhere, like pulling a big carriage by himself or something like that. And like the title says stranger arrives or something, like just making this image like this is the situation where Barry ended up in this location where the story takes place. And then there might be a little bit of flavor text, like one day this stranger carrying a huge flower on his back uh, pulled his own cart without a horse into town and settled up shop, set up shop. That's how you say it. Ooh, I'm tired today, so this might be a short episode as well, just as a heads up. But like something to that degree, and that's like I can kind of use that as a way to like just tell like background stories for the characters until I figure out the actual story that I want to write. Even though like I said before, I have locations, I have characters, I have the magic system, which is a lot of fun to just think about, work on. I have different types of creatures in this world, and I have a few ideas of like what characters have interacted with each other before and why, like their connections and stuff like that. But it all kind of boils down to the main character. Even though I've had a few more ideas of what the main character might be and what they might do, nothing is set in stone just yet. I realized, am I like out of focus? Is my camera trying to focus even though I'm... All right, I got a little bit sidetracked with my camera there. Where was I? Oh yeah, so the main character. Um, I'm slowly building up like ideas around the main character and their like what role they'll be playing in this world. Like, why will this story be about this character? And as of right now, without spoiling too much, it feels like it might like, even though this was not my idea and like not my intent at all, it seems like I'm creating like a kind of a murder mystery, or not really mystery, but just like the main character will try to figure out what happened to this dead person, which I won't go into detail who that is. Um, or that's what it seems like right now, at least. And that is a really fun thing that I've kind of noticed in this process of creating a story. Like, even though I'm trying, like, I have this idea that I want to do just anything with, I keep ending up like getting sidetracked in a lot of different other things, because like just working on the actual story is so difficult. I'm trying to build up like all the stuff around it, which might make it easier for the story to just start moving on its own, right? And it's kind of started doing that, like I said, with the main character. Somehow this is like a murder mystery, even though that was not my intent at any point in time, until it just came about being that way, I guess. But that's a lot of fun. What else have I been thinking of? And just thinking of trying to structure the story right. Because this is going to be a comic, because I'll be releasing it online and everything. Like, how do I want to structure the release and everything of this as well? Because it is going to be like, it will be a vital point of how I tell the story. Like, if I release like one page a week or a month or every 2 weeks or something, or do I release one page like twice a week? Will I draw a bunch of pages beforehand just to make sure that I just to make sure that I don't like fall behind? That's the words. And it's making me think, like, depending on how I structure the releases, I might have to think about how I want to tell the story. Because if the releases are too far apart, with way too little information in each new page, it's not going to be very fun for any reader to read through it until I have like an actual, like, at least maybe a full chapter or whatever to start off with. So that it's that's something I need to think about. Maybe I'll release one chapter at a time, and I'll have these little extra stories at the end of each chapter or something. Who knows? Or that might be confusing, because what if people think that these stories are a part of the chapter and not like separate? So that's it's interesting to think about these things, this stuff. But yeah, that I feel like that is one of the, not the biggest struggle, but it is definitely something that I need to think more about and make a decision as soon as possible. Even though I'm still working on character designs and stuff like that, I can't really make any. I can't draw a full page yet, even though I think I can sketch up like the first initial page of the entire show, because that is what I believe to be the only thing that I'm just rambling on. What do you know? Yeah, I can't get to the point that I'm thinking of. I keep getting sidetracked. But yeah, I guess if I talk a little bit more about the main character, like some of the ideas that I have so far, I think I mentioned a few of the before, but I've worked a little bit more on it since last time. So what I'm thinking is the main character, they've lived in this location for the entire life, up until this point at least. They might have traveled to other places before or during their life. But we might find out about that in the future. They're probably not anything super important. But they're very adept at using spirit magic, is something that I feel like I want to do. But they have a fascination with casting magic, because casting magic is basically just the coolest magic in the system that I'm creating. Or I guess it really depends on the person, but it's definitely the most versatile yet the most dangerous. But I guess if I read a little bit, I can pull it up here. Let's see. Yeah. So they are very adept at using spirit magic, but have a deep fascination with casting magic, and their brothers research into forgotten magic. So yeah, I guess that is something I wrote down, but I totally forgot about it myself, actually. forgotten magic is kind of what I want to um, make into the focus for the main character. Like maybe they rediscover some forgotten magic, or they like figure out some forgotten magic that nobody has been able to work out so far. Like, and maybe it's some type of magic that every time someone just tried to make it happen, it never really worked out because it was too dangerous or just not plausible enough or something. And I guess that goes a little bit into how the magic system works in this world. Maybe I could talk a little bit about that. I don't want to talk way too much about it because I have like almost 10 pages of just magic. Just 10 pages of text about how the magic works. But if I, let's see here. All right, so I guess I'll read a little bit about casting magic, which is the most simple magic to explain. So what I've written down basically goes a little bit something like this. Even though most people only focus on enchantments, there are plenty of people who risk their life by casting. Casting magic is incredibly versatile, as it basically works as imagination in such a way that if you can think it, it is plausible. The less plausible a spell you're trying to cast, the more energy is consumed. Most people lack the magical energy to make a chair levitate, even at the cost of their life. This is of course partially dictated by skill as well. A skilled mage will spend less energy with one spell than an amateur, but for this reason magic is seen as dangerous, and anyone practicing it without the proper training is more likely to harm themselves, the people around them, or even lose their life in the process. Using sacrifices in order to cast magic will significantly weaken the effects of the spell in question. It is not known why this is the case, but life energy seems to be the most effective power source for casting spells. One reason as to why casting magic is spent so much magical energy is the lacking abilities of the caster themselves. A lot of magical energy will go to waste while casting magic if you don't know how to properly utilize it. Let's see, I found a little spelling error here. I'll fix it right away. This is most easily observed with casting magic, when casting magic with any visual component to it. Say a person wanted to cast a perfectly cylindrical flame with their hand. If the person is not skilled enough, they will likely be able to observe more than one cylindrical flame being emitted. Depending on the caster, the additional flames might be much smaller or even bigger than the intended spell. This could potentially more than double the magical energy consumed while casting the spell and can lead to magical exhaustion. So that is just a little bit about casting magic. And the last part there about one of the reasons why you might... Oh, no. Let's see here. One of the reasons why casting magic might be so difficult because like you use way more magic than intended if you're not skilled enough. That part is kind of I'm still up in the air if I want it to work in that particular way. But yeah, I think I'm gonna cut this episode short here. Actually, I don't really have too much more to talk about today. It's just a quick little update on where I'm at and me just rambling on as usual. I probably cut out a lot of stuff from this episode because I don't even know what I'm saying at some points, and I'm pretty sure I just sat silently for like 3 or 4 minutes at one point looking at this great. But either way, and that's about it. Thank you for today, and have a great one. Bye.